Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around so we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, TV, streaming, and all sorts of good things. Speaking of good things, it's Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, and back on her throne is our queen, Erin Cummings is here with Joey Bishop.
Oh my goodness, it's been so long. I feel like it's been 6 months. It's been 800 years. It has been so long. We have been very busy. Joey and I are doing a little remodel. And Tom, of course, my husband. We're doing a little.
Your husband, Tom.
Of course, my husband, Tom. He lives there too. We are doing a little remodel on the house. And so there's been lots of exciting action there. And also lots of exciting action because I've been working again.
I've had to explain to people the last couple Thursdays, like, okay, no, Erin can't be here because she's working on something. I can't tell you what it is right now, but it's pretty cool.
I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's pretty cool.
And here's the thing. It's not that it's like this huge secret. No. Kidding. I'm Captain America. It's not that it's a huge secret. It's just Matt Weiner, when I did Mad Men, put the fear of God in me and everyone else that you do not announce to anyone about anything about you being on the show until it's okay to announce it. And so I am actually doing a recurring role on the NBC show Good Girls, starring Christina Hendricks, also from Mad Men, and Retta and Mae Whitman.
Parks and Rec.
Retta from Parks and Rec, and Breckin Meyer, who some of the Gen Xers out there will remember from Clueless, but he also was one of the stars of Franklin and Bash, and is just, as he refers to himself, a journeyman actor who has just been in a million things. I'm playing his wife, and we have a very I think funny relationship. So I'll let you tune in. But yeah, it's the 4th season of Good Girls. And what was supposed to be a one-day guest star has now turned into a 3-episode recurring, including the season finale, which is actually shooting next Thursday. Erin, so I'm going to be missing next Thursday too. Erin, so I'm here today. I'm gone next week.
You just spoiled it. Now people know you don't die in the first 2 episodes. You just massive spoiler, Erin.
Sorry. Well, I might die in the season finale.
Maybe you die in the season finale. Yes,
and maybe. Of course, as I was just letting you know off camera, blessings are falling on the Dagnans. Tom is right now, currently in front of a camera on the set of the new CSI Vegas, which is, for those of you who are like, there's another CSI. All the CSIs are gone, but now they're everything old is new again. And so the original CSI is now being
with Grisham.
So Georgia Fox and William Peterson are both back, and in the second episode, Tom is going to be playing a total douchebag, which I said, that's okay, honey. You play.
Tom playing a douchebag. No.
Yes. And he was like, I hate playing these kind of people. I go, play them all the way to the bank, honey. Play them all the way to the bank. So.
By the way, I'm going to bring up, for people who don't know, like Erin's husband, Tom, I just brought up a picture. You know, it looks like it's a little
Oh my God.
I just brought up a picture. I don't blame me, blame
that
Google.
Is like 19 or not even that is like fresh out of drama school, young baby Tom Dagnan.
Baby face Tom Dagnan.
Tom Dagnan.
Let me see if I can find one of him that maybe is a little bit more recent.
Yeah, he's a little more grizzled these days.
He's a little bit more grizzled these days. This is a good one of you and him. Let me see if I can get this one up on screen. I like this one. Now, this would have been earlier in your marriage,
was actually, no, we weren't even married. This was at the premiere of Feed the Beast, the show that I was working on AMC while Tom was working on Limitless on CBS.
Right.
And we were like, 2016 is our year. We're both starring on TV shows. We're getting married. Everything is great. We're going to buy a house in Connecticut. And then both of our shows got canceled and we both got cancer, and 2016 totally sucked.
But you're here.
But we're here, we're alive, we're healthy, and we are working again. Knock on wood, that will continue because we have a lot of cat food and dog food that we have to buy. So
and you've got you got King Richard coming.
Oh yeah, and we're both also in King Richard.
Wait, I didn't know Tom got a role in King Richard.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't tell you that. No. Yeah. So was supposed.
By the way, King Richard is the new Will Smith movie about the father of Venus and Serena Williams.
Mm-hmm. And so I had been cast as a social worker who comes to the house, and we obviously had to take a big break from filming because of COVID. And it was like one day before I was supposed to film. I was hoping that I would get it in the can. I'd even gotten my call sheet. I had a 6:30 a.m. call, and it was like number 1 Will Smith, number 8,075 Erin Cummings, but that's okay. I'll take it. And then I got the call. We've got to push, but thankfully production came back. And before we started filming again, Will Smith called for a virtual table read. And at the last minute, John Bernthal, who was in the film, who plays basically he plays the coach of Serena and Venus, and he wasn't able to do the table read. So the casting director, who knows and loves Tom, said, "Tom, will you read this role?" And so essentially the entire table read was Will Smith and Tom, which was incredible for me to watch. And then a few weeks later, there was a role of a tennis dad who's like yelling at Will Smith's character that they had not cast. And the casting director said, "Hey, what about Tom Dagnan from the table read?" And the director remembered him and the producers, and they said, "Oh yeah, he was great. Just cast him." So they just offered him the role. So hopefully neither of us will end up on the cutting room floor. Obviously the film is not going to come out. We haven't seen it. It comes out Thanksgiving of this year, so hopefully we will both make it in. But I
hope Tom likes the picture I just put up. So I don't even know what's that from.
That is back from the soap days.
Is that back from his? That is,
I believe that's either One Life to Live or as with one of those. I don't know. Yeah, he was one of the Joey Buchanans on One Life to Live, and he had a clause where he wasn't allowed to get fat.
There was a clause in his contract.
The day that they fired him, because soaps fire everyone, the day that they fired him, he came home and he had like a huge pizza. I mean, he just had everything. And his girlfriend at the time goes, "Are you going to eat all that?" And he goes, "I just got fired. Hell yeah, I'm eating all this. I don't have to be."
I don't know if you can tell, Tom's a big guy, and he's bigger now than he was in that picture. Like he's a big, fit, muscular, like beefy dude. Like I can't. He may snap you like a twig. I mean, he's just so. But at the same time, I remember when you would tell me, going back like 8 years ago, when you would tell me about, I'm going on a date with whatever, I'm going on a date with
some idiot,
I remember you and I don't know if you remember, you had just had a couple of bottles of wine, I think, and we were
by myself. That sounds about right. Yeah,
we were talking, and I remember we had this conversation about because here's the thing, Erin, you'll eat most guys alive. And it's like, you're going to need like a really strong guy, I think, to catch your attention and stuff like that. And along came Tom.
Yes, but he is one of, what do they call him? A gentle giant.
Yes, he is. No, he's major geek. Super good guy. Anyway,
so loves comic books. Yeah.
Of the show. We need to move on.
I know everybody in the chat is like, okay, who cares about Tom and Erin? Yes. Let's get to the Eternals.
And by the way,
we are getting there. Thank you guys for indulging me. And also, really quick, I've had a couple of very kind-hearted viewers send me some messages on Instagram. No, I did not block you from Twitter. I took a break from Twitter because I needed it for my mental health. And oh boy, it has been the most lovely thing. So I don't think that I'm ever going to go back. So no, I did not block anyone.
You didn't take anybody off Twitter?
I just had to deactivate my account for a minute to just breathe it out and get zen for a minute. And I've been much happier. So if you want to find me, come visit me on Instagram. And I'm not even there half the time anymore either.
All right. So by the way, before we get rolling other stuff, both Tom Spradlin and that was Tom Spradlin and Dragon Jewel both sent in super chat badges in the live chat. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Okay, guys, listen. We actually do have some topics that we need to discuss here as I pull down all the pictures of Tom now that I was trying to pull together at the last second. Anyway, lots of stuff to talk about here today. Here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to take the first half of the show to talk about some predetermined topics, and then we're going to roll into the second half of the show, which is just taking your live comments and questions. If you'd like to get a live comment or question read on the show, simply go into the description of this video. You'll see a tip link. Click on that. And or you can enter it in manually at www.streamelements.com/movieblogtv/tip. You'll be getting your comment or question on the show if it's, of course, appropriate for the show. And of course, you'll be supporting the channel at the same time. Okay, with that down, guys, let's get things started here. And we're going to start with a couple of off the tops. And the first one is this. M. Night is a really interesting name. By the time M. Night Shyamalan's career is over, it's going to be really, really interesting to look back on it and look at the up and down. I mean, he came out like a firecracker, did some really cool things. By the way, Jamie Cool sends in a super chat badge. Thank you, Jamie.
Was I See Dead People his first big thing?
That was his first big thing.
I don't even know the name of the movie. Just I See.
Sixth Sense.
That's
the thing that really put him on the map, right? And then I think it was Unbreakable after that. And then that's when everybody went wild. Right, you start getting, I think it was Time Magazine covered with a big picture of him saying the next Spielberg and stuff like that. And quite frankly, from everything that I've read and heard, like he started to buy into his own hype.
Drank a little bit of his own Kool-Aid.
He drank a lot of his own Kool-Aid, started rejecting studios' inputs and notes, and eventually he started making crappier and crappier movies, highlighting in one of the absolute worst feature films ever created in the history of mankind. And I can't even remember the name of it now. The one with Paul Giamatti. Lady in the Water?
Oh, okay.
I think it was called Lady in the Water. Anyway, which was just terrible. Yes, I think that was even worse than The Happening. So that's just me personally. I think it was even worse than The Happening. But anyway, so he does all that. But then he starts to make a little bit of a resurgence. He puts out this little film with Kathryn Hahn, who was just in WandaVision, called The Visit. This little low-budget horror film that I remember watching it, and I was like, that was actually pretty good. Like it was this little, I think he did it with Jason Blum from Blumhouse. And it was like, it was really good. And then he did, what was it?
I bet you he let Jason Blum have some input.
Oh, well, yeah, Jason Blum, I'll finance it, but you're going to take our input now.
Yeah.
And then he did the one that was the first one. He did, what was it called? Not Split, or maybe it was called Split.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he did Split. And things like that. So he's been making this little bit of a resurgence. Anyway, we've been talking for a little while about this new movie that is coming out called Old. And a trailer dropped for it a while ago, and not much was in it. But today, a brand new version of it, a brand new trailer for Old dropped. And I'll tell you what, it's a really good trailer. First of all, it was very classic M. Night. So like you definitely had that M. Night DNA in it, but it also kind of reminded me of The Visit in the sense that he's reeling it in. He's doing some really simple, it looks like 8 characters on a beach.
Right.
Go.
Yeah.
And they start aging unexpectedly. Go. And it's just, I love movies that do things like in confined environments and limited cast. And it just looks really good. And as the trailer progresses, like it starts to expand a bit. We start to see a little bit more, and then okay, now what the hell's in the cave or whatever. And by the time this trailer
and
was
what the
done,
hell happened to that woman?
And what happened? All these mysteries popping up, and now I'm like, okay, I want to know what's going on here. Now, hopefully, unlike what was the one, The Village? I think that unlike The Village, that had one of the coolest setups and one of the lamest payoff endings. I hated the ending to The Village, which you could predict and call from a mile away. Hopefully, this doesn't suffer from that same thing. So I'm not going to sit here and say this movie's going to be great, but the trailer looks great. I loved what I saw. You just had a chance to take a look at this trailer. What did you think?
I mean, it sent shivers up and down my spine. M. Night has a beautiful grasp of the musicality of film and not just the musicality of scoring the movie from a storytelling perspective, but actually scoring the movie itself. His use of music always helps direct your emotion, and we see that in the trailer. We start out with this happy family just going on an innocent little vacation, and then there's that little tiny thing. Oh, there's no kids allowed on the beach. Huh. And, it's almost said in an innocuous way. And then the second that the kids start to run on the beach, you go, oh, those kids should not be on that beach. And so I love the way that there's just all these little bits that are just, dropped and dropped and dropped. And it builds and builds through the course of the trailer. So I actually felt almost as if I was watching or as if I was experiencing what I will experience when I see the movie, which I love. I love when a trailer goes, okay, this is how you're going to feel as the movie goes on. We're going to start out and everything's going to be okay, and you're going to think that you're fine, and then there's going to be a couple little clues, and your radar is going to go off, but you're going to tell yourself it's all going to be okay. And then something a little scary is going to happen, and you go, oh, I don't like that. But then all of a sudden, shit's going to go down, and it's going to get really, really, really bad. And that's pretty much the way that the trailer went. And I go, okay, now I know what to expect from the movie, which is exciting for me because I can just sort of settle in and go, all right, I don't know what's going to happen story-wise, but I know where my emotions are going to go, and they're going to go on one wild ride. And that's pretty exciting for me.
Yeah, it looks really, really good to me. By the way, JLE sends in a super chat badge in the live chat. Thank you, JLE. Yeah, listen, it feels good to be back in the business of looking forward to the next M. Night movie.
Yes.
It's been a while, but I think we're there. This trailer is certainly great.
And I like what you said about, a singular location with a limited cast, because, and this is no disrespect to movies that do have all the, the booms and the
they can be great.
Yeah, they can be great. I'm not saying that they can't, but I always look forward to a movie that has limited locations, because you have to rely on the story. You cannot rely on a car exploding or CGI or anything like that. You really have to rely on the storytelling, and also with a limited cast and not a lot of opportunity for extraneous characters to come in and out, you get to know those characters and you go on the ride with them. So I have high expectations for Old. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I believe it is in theaters July 24th, something like that.
23rd, 24th, something like that.
So late July, I'll look forward to seeing that. And I love Gabriel Garcia Bernal.
Right.
I've loved him since Y Tu Mama Tambien, and he has just been absolutely magical ever since then. He chooses really good scripts. So I think that's another thing is I don't envision him as a guy who just wants to take a job for the money. So I think that he has a very keen eye when it comes to choosing his projects. So I think that there's some promise here.
All right, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see this new trailer for Old? If so, what did you think? Did you like it as much as us? Maybe it didn't work for you. Whatever you thought, jump on down into the comments section below and leave your impressions there. Okay, guys, with that down, let's do one more off the top, and that is this. Speaking of trailers that just came out, there's a brand new trailer for the brand new Emily Blunt, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson Disney film, Jungle Cruise. Now, of course, this movie has gone through some upheaval. I mean, they released a bunch of trailers at the last D23, which was, of course, 18 years ago, it feels like. Then they made the announcement that they were going to release it day and date. It's going to be the newest one of their experiments that they released day and date on Disney Plus and in theaters at the same time, which of course to me was Bob Chapek firing a big flare gun into the air that screamed, "We have no belief in this film." So anyway, they put out a brand new trailer for it. Brand new trailer just came out, and I'm going to say right now, meh. Meh. It looks bland to me. It looks bland. It looks like it's got poor CGI. Listen, I was all against the Pirates of the Caribbean movie when it was originally being made, because I'm like, what are you doing? It's going to feel so hollow and so shallow and so bereft of anything like with substance. You're basing a movie on a ride. Come on. Now, me and a lot of other people had to eat our words because Pirates of the Caribbean was great. So when they first announced that they were going to do a Jungle Cruise movie, I had those same first impressions, but then I had to temper myself. It's like, listen, I thought the same thing about Pirates of the Caribbean and it turned out great. But I got to tell you, despite the fact that I think Emily Blunt and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson have some fantastic on-screen chemistry, and besides the fact that the one little appearance by Jesse Plemons in this trailer was gold, okay? Yeah. I will give it that. That little, I can't even remember what word he says when he comes out of the submarine. Okay, Jesse Plemons, thumbs up. Yes, that part was great. Everything else felt like exactly the way I feared the first Pirates of the Caribbean would feel. It feels like this is going to be incredibly shallow. We've got all the little tropes in there. The CGI is bad. The action feels contrived. It's just a trailer. I know it's just a trailer, and maybe the movie will be great. But I wasn't thrilled with what I saw. But you had a different reaction to the trailer.
I had a completely different reaction. Now, this also may be due to the fact that I am a huge CCR fan. So you have Creedence Clearwater Revival in your trailer. I'm going to watch your movie. That's pretty much all I need. No, I did feel like the placement of that song was so poetic in this. I thought it was a nice tongue in cheek, and it also kind of set the tone. For there's some danger going on, but we're also having a little fun. Emily Blunt has not only established herself as an actor who is more than capable of doing brilliant tongue-in-cheek comedy, as we saw in Devil Wears Prada, but also as an action hero, as we saw in Tom Cruise movie. I forget it.
Which you have Day After or The Edge of Tomorrow?
Edge of Tomorrow, right. And obviously Dwayne The Rock Johnson, same thing. Numerous comedy credits in his action career speaks for itself as well. So I love the combination of these two. Yes, from the trailer we saw that they had great chemistry. And sometimes that is really the glue that holds an otherwise subpar movie together. I didn't really notice the lacking CGI. I didn't really the things that stood out to you didn't really stand out to me, because for me, all I was thinking of was, wow, they have great chemistry together. They work off of each other really well. And this is just evidenced by the trailer. Jesse Plemons, if you are not already a fan of Jesse Plemons, go back and watch his episode of Black Mirror, which also features my friend Billy Magnuson. He is phenomenal in Black Mirror, and pretty much everything he does. He plays a really awful and wonderful bad guy.
And by the way, there's a brand new poster for Jungle Cruise that just came out today, which is up on the screen right now. So you guys can have a peek at that.
I also think that this is going to be a really fun movie for families to go see. It's been a long time since people have been able to pack up the kids and go to the theater and sit in the theater and watch a big movie on the big screen. And I think that this is going to be a very exciting one for families. Weird timing actually is just yesterday. I was reading an interview or an article about how Emily Blunt and John Krasinski, who are married and have children, how they have not told their kids that they're famous. They want to.
That's funny.
They want to shield their children from their fame for as long as possible. And now their oldest, who I believe is 6, is starting, came home and said, "Are you famous?" Because I guess somebody at school had said that or whatever. And so I was just thinking, well, when Jungle Cruise comes out and every kid in America hopefully has an opportunity to see it, it's going to be very difficult for them to keep up the ruse that they are just random mom and dad who go to the office every day. I thought it was fun. Do I think that it's going to have the same kind of blockbuster appeal as of Pirates of the Caribbean? I don't know. Maybe not. Pirates of the Caribbean one of the big draws of Pirates of the Caribbean was Johnny Depp's charisma with pretty much anything. He could have charisma with, chemistry with a piece of construction paper.
Yeah.
So it's really hard not to be excited. And I am going to hold out hope, and I'm going to remain glass half full on this one, and hope that some of the shortcomings of problematic CGI can be overcome with the incredible chemistry of the two leads.
I hope so, because I'm a huge Dwayne Johnson fan. I think people drastically underestimate how solid. He's not like one of the top 20 great thespians in the business today, but how solid of an actor he's become. Guys, I know if all you've ever seen are just the bubblegum Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I get it. But if you've ever seen Faster and Snitch and Pain and Gain, he's actually evolved quite a bit as a performer. So I love him. I love Emily Blunt. I hope this is good. I just have a bad feeling about it. And the trailer wasn't great. But anyway, guys, the question is, at least to me, many of you may love it like Erin did. The question is for you guys. What do you think about this new trailer for Jungle Cruise? Do you like it like Erin? Did you not like it like me? Whatever you think, jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move into our main topics here today. And how do we select our main topics here on the John Campea Show? Well, it's really rather simple. You see, you guys come up with them. Whenever you come across a big topic, story, or issue that you think we should absolutely cover as a main topic here on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's totally free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on The John Campea Show. With that down, let's get into main topic number 1. And our first main topic today gets submitted to us by Max Zwack, who writes, "Hey, John. Like you, I was excited to finally see footage of Chloe Zhao's Eternals, and I really enjoyed the first teaser. I saw on Deadline today that this trailer reached 77 million views in the first 24 hours, which makes it the biggest trailer debut Marvel has had since the pandemic started 14 months ago. I was surprised to hear how big this was. Do you think Eternals could be a bigger box office hit than Black Widow or Shang-Chi?" All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Max. And yeah, listen, Eternals has been one of these pictures that, look, everybody kind of overlooked it at first because nobody outside of the hardcore comic book fans even knows what Eternals are. And then they started announcing the cast. And you've got, Ned Stark's kids both showing up. His 2 eldest sons showing up in it. Obviously, Angelina Jolie popping up. The Gemma Chan in there. I mean, just Kumail Nanjiani. The cast started to come together, and people started paying a little bit of attention to it. But still, it's a completely unknown commodity. Nobody's really talking about it. Then it comes to the forefront again. Chloe Zhao directs Nomadland, which is like one of the most beloved films of the year. It ultimately went on to win Best Picture at the Academy Awards 2021. And Chloe Zhao herself becomes the reigning, defending, undisputed Best Director in the world, at least right now, posed by the Directors Guild of America, because she won Best Director there, and at the Academy Awards, 2021 hashtag. So all of a sudden, people start thinking a little bit more about it. It puts Eternals more in the spotlight. We're having a Marvel Cinematic Universe film being directed. It's coming out with the reigning Director of the Year. Never been done before. And a lot of people got very excited about it. And I still think it was under a lot of people's radars. Mm-hmm. I still think, at least I did, I still had this thought that most people still aren't really paying attention to Eternals. Nobody's really that keyed in by it, but that may not be the case. This comes to us from Deadline. The first online teaser trailer for the Marvel Cinematic Universe's third Phase 4 movie, Eternals, drew an almighty 77 million global viewers in its first 24 hours since dropping on Monday, per social analytics sources. That's the biggest online trailer drop for a Disney or a Marvel movie in the 14 months of the pandemic. It's a great sign for a film that is scheduled to open in theaters November 5th. Eternals bested the initial 24-hour traffic for Disney's Cruella trailer, which got 71 million. And remember, we made a big deal about that, following its February 17th drop, and Disney Plus's WandaVision, which was released following its airing on last September's primetime Emmys. Now, it should kind of be noted here that Falcon and Winter Soldier's trailer did have more views at 120 something million. However, those numbers included everybody who watched it during like one of the big NFL playoff games. It doesn't, so they say that doesn't really count. Mm-hmm. Just people who specifically and intentionally were like, I want to watch the Eternals trailer, click. Mm-hmm. If you had told me 2 days ago that the Eternals trailer was going to get more attention than WandaVision did, more online attention than Falcon and Winter Soldier did, more online attention than the Loki thing did, this Eternals thing that most people don't even know what it is, I would say you're crazy if you're going to tell me you got 77 million views. And yet here we are. It did. So it raises the question, how? How does this little title that nobody was paying attention to not too long ago, why does it suddenly garner all this attention and everybody who's tuning into it? So was it, A, is it just the cast? Or B, is it all this incredible attention that it got from Chloe Zhao and her last film, Nomadland, which is one of the best films I've seen in years? Is that what got everybody's? And if so, I mean, should we start paying more attention to how much attention just an individual director can bring to a movie like this? Because it's the basic operating theory has been, a director can make your movie better, but it's not going to get a lot more attention to your movie unless it's Quentin Tarantino or something like that, or Christopher Nolan. And along comes this. Erin, first of all, what did you think about the trailer? Because you and I haven't had a chance to talk about the ad. But second, what is it about this project right now that is getting it this much attention that 77 million people tuned in to watch the trailer?
I know you're going to like throw a dart across the room and try to hit me in the forehead, but meh. I just
You're not alone. You're not alone.
I was very underwhelmed with a trailer that I was very excited to see. And I think part of the reason why there is so much interest in this is because we've been talking about it forever. And Kamal Nanjiani has like posted his before and after photos of his body transformation. And oh my God, Angelina Jolie is coming back. And oh my God, Selma Hayek is in it. And oh my God, the Star Kids are like, it does have a great cast and it does have an amazing director. And so there's a lot of heat on this. And again, we've been talking about it for a really long time. So, you know, when you talk about Christmas Day for 364 days, eventually when Christmas Day rolls around, there's some excitement. And then you get there and you go, oh, okay, well, all right, whatever. I am still holding out hope to be more excited, but I'm like a lot of other people where I'm not coming at it from the fandom perspective. I'm not totally familiar with the Eternals. I don't know the story inside and out. So for me, when I was watching the trailer, it was the opposite of what I saw from Old, which was a lot of CGI, a lot of action, a lot of cool shots, but not a lot of substance, not a lot of nothing that really brought me in per se. I just didn't feel terribly intrigued or excited about the movie. And so, yeah, I was a little meh about it. And you know, I hate to say, I know that I'm sounding, you know, really pessimistic. And I understand that it's also a teaser. So that's the reason why it didn't have the full, hey, this is what you're going to get. So that's why I'm still holding out hope. I'm looking forward to seeing a full trailer and what they do with that. But I think that in my glass half empty side, when we talk about the number of people that are watching trailers, in the same way that there are entire rooms full of people writing, I love this product. This is great. I ordered this 5 stars, that give those like fake reviews for products online.
Right.
There's a part of me that just wonders, is there a massive warehouse somewhere with people just being like, watching the trailer over and over and over again to get the numbers up? I know that's totally pessimistic and conspiracy theory.
Well, also, YouTube wouldn't count those views. Yeah, like if you watch a video on YouTube 5 times from your computer, it'll only count as 1 view.
Okay. Well, what if there were a million, billion, trillion people in a warehouse and they each watch? No,
then it would have a million, billion, trillion views.
Forget it. Like I'm
very expensive views.
No. So I will say this. I wasn't super excited about it, but I'm not going to totally say, oh, that sucks. I'm just, I'm kind of the same way about it as you were with Jungle Cruise.
You're not alone. There are a number of people who were like, I think a lot of people come to a Marvel trailer and they expect certain things. This one was a dramatic director coming and kind of teasing, this is a centuries spanning epic kind of tale about these. And you're right, it is just an initial trailer. But as far as we've been talking about it forever, we've been talking about Loki. They obviously the COVID thing paused as well, and a lot of stuff like that. Loki's.
What are you thinking
character.
of?
Toki is a totally different character coming to the MCU soon. Toki. So
that's a South Park character.
That is a South Park character. So we've been talking about Loki for a very, very long time, and Loki is a massive popular character within the MCU, and its trailer didn't get the attention that it
I think also the difference, though, is you're talking about TV shows that are only accessible to people who are subscribers of Disney Plus. Whereas with Eternals, we're talking about a film that's going to be in theaters nationwide.
That's a good point.
So it has a much wider, it has much larger the reach is greater. So for me, if I'm thinking of, okay, what are the movies coming out this summer? What am I looking forward to seeing? Eternals is a trailer I want to watch because that's a movie that let's say that I don't have a subscription to any streaming platform, or let's say that I have a subscription to one thing, but Disney Plus is not it. Well, I'm not going to have the Disney Plus shows on my radar. But a movie that I know is going to be in the theater down the street, that's something that I have that's accessible to me.
Right. That's a really good point. So the question is for you guys, what do you think about this? I'll be honest with you. I am personally actually pretty shocked by the numbers of this Eternals trailer, considering I thought it was still under most people's radars. What do you guys attribute it to? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 2. And our second main topic today gets submitted to us by Charlie McGivern, who writes, "Greetings, John and crew from the UK.
Hello.
The 8th entry into the Conjuring universe, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, has now released here and in other international markets with overwhelmingly positive reactions. I am looking forward to checking it out in cinemas this weekend, but do you think these reviews could mean that The Conjuring 3 will have great box office numbers worldwide? Very best, and have a wonderful day." All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yeah, Conjuring is one of these franchises, maybe the franchise that is kind of like maybe more responsible than anything else. It has kind of buoyed this modest budgeted horror resurgence that we've really seen in theaters the last number of years. I've personally liked a number of not all of them, like the first Annabelle one was terrible, but there's a number of these movies that I really, really enjoy. And it is crazy how much of a following these Conjuring movies have got. And of course, coming along now is The Conjuring 3, aka The Devil Made Me Do It. Stupid title. I don't think it's a good title.
No.
But whatever, it's just the title for a movie. So there it goes. The question then becomes, it's getting great reviews. The last time I checked, it was sitting at 86% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
So it's getting very positive. But, I mean, it's not the only Conjuring film that has gotten really good reviews, and some of them have led to pretty decent box office. Let's take a look at a little bit of the history here. So when we're looking at the Conjuring franchise, okay, we look at the first Conjuring, 86% critic score, which is great, kind of right where the new one is right now, and it went on to make $319 million. Conjuring 2 had an 80% critic score, went on to make $320 million. Annabelle, which I was very excited about, and it turned out to be quite bad. Anyway, 29% critic score, but it still made $257 million, despite the fact that it wasn't very good. And then Annabelle totally redeemed itself with Annabelle Creation. I really liked Annabelle Creation. 71% critic score, and of course, then we saw it elevated its box office again to another $306 million. Then came The Nun. Not a great movie. 24% critic score, but I will say this, awesome trailers. The Nun trailers were like that one moment in that Nun trailer where the one woman is walking down the dark hallway with a torch, and all of a sudden the nun comes, flies out of the side, and everybody in the world jumped out of their seats. Terrific marketing, which led to it getting a $365.5 million box office return. Then, of course, we had Annabelle Comes Home, which wasn't actually bad. It was certainly much better than the first Annabelle. 65% critic score, made $231 million. So now we've got The Conjuring 3, and it's sitting at an 85%, getting the same kind of critical reaction that we saw at Conjuring 1 and Conjuring 2. So the question becomes, can it get those types of box office numbers as well? On the one hand, I want to say yes, because this is a series and a franchise that has a devout following. Mm-hmm. And if there are people out there who are fans of The Conjuring, they're going to be coming back to come see The Conjuring 3, even if the title is The Devil Made Me Do It. They're going to come back and see it regardless, right? So there's that. On top of that, it's getting positive word of mouth. And it opening in other markets first can kind of help that in its North America debut, hearing that other fans have seen it and fans are liking it. So that works in its favor as well. There are two things working against it, though, as far as I can tell. Thing number one is the trailers have not been great. Unlike The Nun, which was a bad movie with terrific marketing, I have not found anything really about the trailers in this really, really hooking me. It's not like, okay, now I gotta see this movie. The other thing, though, of course, is the same thing we're going to be talking about every movie this month and for the next couple of months. we're not out of the pandemic woods yet. Things are better. We see new case, especially in California, we're seeing new case numbers drop really significantly. The immunizations are going way up, which is also great to see. You know, I was watching sports last night with arenas full of people. And it's like, it's crazy to see, but we're not all the way there yet. There are still a lot of theaters that have limited capacity. There are still people who are a little bit apprehensive, understandably so, who are a little bit apprehensive about going back to the theater. So that's working against it. I think this can do well by Conjuring standards. I see it maybe doing the $250 million range. I don't quite seeing it like getting to the mid 300s like the peak Conjuring stuff has.
Right.
But I think overall it'll do well. Anyway, Erin, you're seeing the promotion, the marketing, you're seeing what the reaction is. How well, all things considered, do you think this movie could do at the box office?
Well, I think that, you know, what's going to be interesting is not just what Conjuring 3 does at the box office, but what it does for the entire franchise. And here's the reason why I say that. I was talking to a friend the other day who he has a date with a third date with a young lady. And I said, what are you guys doing? And he said, well, she's coming over to watch The Conjuring 2, or she's coming over to watch The Conjuring, the first one. Right. Because he said, I want to take her to see Conjuring 3 when it comes out, but she hasn't seen the first two. So she's going to come over and watch the first one. And then, you know, so I thought,
your friend has a strategic mind.
Yes. I was like, well, we'll see if you get past the opening credits. Yeah, she's going to come over and watch a movie. I know that game. But like, I thought that was really interesting that, you know, he is clearly a fan and is recruiting someone else to become a fan. And because there is so much there's so much positive response that's already come out so far, it's going to cause people like me who haven't seen the first two, because I haven't, to go and watch them. Now, it's also difficult for me because I have a rule where I don't watch horror movies in my own home, because then my house gets haunted.
You and Ann both.
Like, I'll watch a scary movie at somebody else's house because I can leave their house and I don't have to worry that something's going to crawl out from under the sofa and attack me. But like, I can't watch a horror movie at my house. That's really hard to do, you know, when you're in a pandemic and you're not leaving your house. So if someone would like to invite me over so that your house can get haunted and I can watch Conjuring 1 and 2 at your house and then leave and never come back, please invite me over. But yeah, I think that there's not just going to be enthusiasm about the third one because of, you know, the fan base that already exists, but the positive response and the fervor that the combination of those two things causes for people to go back and, you know, and go, oh, wow, I'm now interested in checking this out. It's one thing if a horror film gets a sequel. It's another thing if it ends up having the longevity and the life and essentially becomes a franchise in the way that Conjuring has. It really speaks to what's going on with the development and with the creative process, the creative side of this film, the entire franchise. So I'm excited about it.
Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do is coming out. Where's your anticipation level? The reviews of it have been quite strong. We're hearing positive word of mouth coming out about it. Are you looking forward to seeing it? Is it still under your radar? How do you think it's going to do at the box office? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move on to our third and final main topic today. And our third and final main topic today gets submitted to us by Eddie Sanchez, who writes, I just read an article from Variety confirming that actor Aaron Taylor Johnson, a.k.a. Kick-Ass, a.k.a. Quicksilver, has been cast by Sony to play none other than Kraven the Hunter in the upcoming origin movie for their ever-growing movies related to the Spider-Man universe. It will be directed by J.C. Chandor and the script penned by Art Markham and Matt Holloway and Richard Wenk. Avi Arad and Matt Tolmach are set to produce. What are your thoughts? And bring on the filthy. I'll tell you what, I love this news. I love this news. And I love it for several reasons. Number one, there's only been one film so far, so admittedly, it's a very, very small sample size. I'm a big fan of Venom. I liked Venom a lot. I had more fun watching that movie than a lot of people did. I liked it more than most people did. But even though I said this movie doesn't need Spider-Man to be fun, everybody says it's going to totally flop without Spider-Man, and I didn't think it was going to make $800 million at the box office, but it made over $800 million at the box office. It was entertaining. It was fun. Tom Hardy is great in it, I thought so. And then I love the look of Morbius. I think that looks like it's going to be a hoot. And so I've loved the trailers for that. Maybe the movie will suck. I don't know. But for now, it looks really good. And then we heard a while ago that Kraven the Hunter was going to be another project they were going to do. And I was all about it because I love the character Kraven. Kraven is a great character who can play an anti-hero. Kraven is a great multi-purpose tool in your belt if you're a studio, because you can make up him a straight out villain. You can use him as an anti-hero. You can use him in a lot of different ways. So they're going the same route as Venom. They're going to give him his own standalone thing. And I always thought he could be a very, very good character in a movie. Combine that with the fact that I really like Aaron Taylor Johnson. And yes, obviously, I liked him in Kick-Ass. And yes, obviously, I liked him as Quicksilver in the MCU. But I also really and he's done a bunch of stuff, but I really liked him in this not fantastic movie that I think Oliver Stone directed. I think it was an Oliver Stone movie called Savages that he did with, it was him.
Wait,
I keep freezing on Ryan Reynolds' wife's name.
Rachel McAdams.
No.
Oh, wait, Blake Lively.
Blake Lively. Thank you. Yes,
I saw Savages in theater. I remember that.
So did I. I went to go see it.
She was very good in it.
Oh, I love Blake Lively in that. She was great. And it also had, and I'm freezing on his name. He was the star of John Carter of Mars, and I'm freezing on his name right now. But it also had him. Anyway, so they were the three.
That was a good movie. I remember that.
And I just remember Aaron Taylor Johnson. And Taylor Kitsch, thank you, James.
Taylor Kitsch, that's what and Benicio del Toro, So that was a good movie.
So you had Blake Lively, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Taylor Kitsch. The three of them had tremendous chemistry together. And even though I didn't love the movie myself overall, I thought, like, that was the time that I went, oh my God, he ain't just kick-ass. He is really good. And on top of all that, I don't know if you've seen him recently. He has beefed up. Like, he is like really big now. Like, he's gotten into really, really great physical shape. And so if you had asked me, John, I don't play the X actor and X role game, but if somebody were to come to me and say, hey, John, put together for us, would you mind put together a list of 5 names that you think could be Kraven? Honestly, this is one of those situations where I would not have thought of Aaron Taylor Johnson. But now that you mention it, I love it. Me, I'm always just about, I don't care what specific actor you get, just get an actor that I think can be a fit for the role, but most importantly is a talented performer.
Right.
Look at what Sony has done so far. They need Venom. They got Tom Hardy. They needed Morbius. They went out and got an Academy Award winner to do it. They need Kraven. They've gone out and gotten Aaron Taylor Johnson. I love that because they're just putting talent in there. And I always, always dig that. And now when you look at Aaron Taylor Johnson and you think of Kraven, you're like, damn, all I see is Kraven the Hunter now. This dude is Kraven the Hunter. This will be great. So yeah, I love what Sony has been doing lately. Everything from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is like, was my number 3 favorite movie of 2018. Like, I liked it more than Infinity War. I liked it more than Black Panther. It was my favorite comic book movie of the year. I love that. I'm a big fan of Venom. I like what they've done there. They've got their casting on point. They are bringing in talent. I love that they've got this guy. So I got to tell you, when I saw the news that Aaron Taylor Johnson was going to be playing this role, number 1, I was surprised. Number 2, after I got over the surprise, I was just thrilled. I think this is great news, great fit. Doesn't mean the movie's going to be great. But by casting a really talented lead, you've done yourself a favor. Erin, you've heard about this news now. What do you think of it?
Well, going along with him being incredibly talented, also someone at his level where he's got multiple studio projects behind him. He's been leads in studio films. He has an entire team of people, and they are very strategically directing where his career is going to go. He also does not strike me like we were talking earlier about Gabriel Garcia Bernal, not someone who goes after a big paycheck, but really is looking to do films that he's proud of and do work that he's proud of. So I imagine that when you have talent and you have smart talent that has a history. And I understand that Savages wasn't necessarily a big fan favorite by everyone, but when you have someone who has a history of choosing projects that either involve working with strong directors like Oliver Stone or have incredible scripts, that fills me with a sense of optimism. I am also happy for him that he has been around a while. He has more than proven himself capable of a role like this, that he can carry this film, carry what will eventually become a franchise, I'm sure, because he's probably locked into at least a 4-picture deal.
Probably.
I think this is nothing but good thing, but positive news. And I agree, when you have really talented actors who can do pretty much anything, and then you put them into a comic book superhero role, all it does is elevate the material beyond what people associated with comic book movies maybe 20 years ago. And that's why we're now seeing comic book movies being able to attract Academy Award winning talent, because the talent that has been brought into these projects in the last decade and a half has really elevated the stature of projects that were once considered niche to the mainstream audience, and
right.
Quite frankly, to mainstream Hollywood that didn't take these projects seriously. Now, these projects are Hollywood, and you don't have a choice but to take them seriously, because you look at, number one, the quality that is coming out of them. You look at the people that are involved, the talent level that's involved, and you look at the amount of money that they're making.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is too, to your point, is like once in this genre, you have Anthony Hopkins, Ben Kingsley, Robert Redford. Once you have those guys being in these comic book movies, it's not beneath anybody anymore. It's not beneath anybody anymore.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe even Martin Scorsese might want to direct a comic book movie one day.
Listen, don't laugh. I would not be surprised if before the end of 2023, we get an announcement, Kevin Feige and Marty Scorsese make some joint announcement that he's going to be directing one of their films.
Is he going to take back what he said? Oh,
not taking back what he said. And that's going to make it that's going to blow up the internet. When it says, okay, even Martin Scorsese's come on board to do it now. They finally found a script that to him is actually cinema.
Oh, right.
Gonna do it.
Worthy of him bestowing. Yeah.
That's right. Worthy of him giving his blessings in it. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. I love this news. I think it's great. How do you feel about Aaron Taylor Johnson becoming the new Kraven the Hunter? Jump on down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's now move on and start taking your live comments and questions that you guys have been firing in here. Once again, if you guys want to get a live comment or question on the show, simply go to the tip link that's in the description of this video, click on it there, or you can enter it in manually at streamelements.com/movieblogtv/tip. You'll be getting your comment or question on the show if it's appropriate for the show, of course. And of course, you'll be supporting the channel at the same time. All right, let's get on over and start taking your questions, shall we? This first one we're going to start with comes to us from Martin Bailey, who writes, "Hey, John, I'd like to recommend a TV show called Humans, the TV series. That has Sam Witwer in it, as a matter of fact. Humans, the TV series, focuses on the social and psychological impact of the invention of anthropomorphic robots called synths. It has, you know what? I'm thinking of Being Human that had Sam Witwer, that had Sam Witwer in it, not Humans. Sorry, I take that back. Called Synths. It has the amazing Gemma Chan, who plays a synth. It's a great show. Have you seen it? No, but I am aware of the show. I've seen marketing for it. It's just not one I ever got into, but I know a couple. I don't know a ton of people, but I got one friend in particular in Canada who watched it. Actually, no, I take that back. I got a friend in Canada who's involved with the show. Yes, that's what it is. but I have never watched myself. Have you ever watched Humans?
No, I haven't. And I'm also like, I'm starting to get to a point where I don't want to watch any more of these AI taking over the world. I'm like, we're just too close. This is too close to reality. and I'm like, when there's a TV show about how AIs and humans live together harmoniously and everybody gets along and no one is subjugating anybody else and everybody's happy, then maybe I'll be interested in watching that. But right now, I'm just like, no thanks.
All right. Next up, we've got Ryan G, who writes, "Hey John, sorry about my other the day." Let me try this again. "Hi John, sorry about my other the day. I meant to say Ryan G from Ryan, but I made a mistake." I think you might have accidentally made another mistake, Ryan, but don't worry about it. Hey, listen, very decent of you just to want to write in to correct that, though, to bring that to our attention.
Thanks,
so thank
Ryan.
you for that, Ryan. Appreciate that. All right. Yo Mama's Llama writes, "Dear Chimmercial? I'm not quite sure what that word means. You got me on a word. Canadian. Did you ever read the Jack Reacher novels? I have not. Personally, I feel that the Tom Cruise movie did not do the character justice, and Denzel Washington's character in The Equalizer was more akin to the spirit of the character. Here's the thing, and this is why I have a rule that if there is a movie coming out based on a book, I will not read the book first.
Oh, because you're always going to be disappointed.
Because here's the thing.
How can you not be? Your imagination is always going to be. Oh, sorry. Was that exactly what you were going to say?
That's exactly the point. Yes. Whatever you do first, that is going to become by the thing you would measure everything else by. Mm-hmm. And that's why a lot of times I talk to people who saw a movie first, then read the book and were like, yeah, the book was good, but whatever. But I bet if you read the book first, you would have been saying, yeah, the movie was good, but it doesn't live up to the book. So that's why I will not read a book first, because you create your own structure of the movie in your head about what it'll look like, sound like, feel like, all that kind of stuff. And then when the movie comes along, regardless of how good it is, it won't equal what it is you had in your head. And therefore, it's not the same, doesn't live up to it. I thought the first Jack Reacher movie with Tom Cruise was great. Not so much the second one, but I thought the first one, because what was the second one called? Never Say Goodbye Again, Never Say Never.
Jack Reacher's Still Reaching.
Jack Reacher's Still Reaching. That would have been a good title for it. But I thought it was great. Do you ever find that when you try to read a book and then watch the movie afterwards?
Yeah, I read the His Dark Materials series. It starts with The Golden Compass, and then the Amber Spyglass, and then I forget what the third one is. And I flew through all three books. I loved them, and I sobbed at the end of it. And because I loved the books so much, I never watched The Golden Compass when it came out, or the His Dark Materials when it came out. I couldn't, because I knew it was not going to live up to what I had in my mind. And I was happy letting that reality live in my mind. And I think that if you're going to read the book and then see the movie, you have to just let the book go, because you've cast it in your own mind. You know what those characters look like. You know how they walk. And there's even certain pronunciations of words that you have in your mind. And so then when someone is pronouncing the word differently from what you have pronounced, how you pronounced it, even though they're doing it probably according to what the author intended it to be, you're always going to go, oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. It's going to catch you, and it's just going to be jarring, and you're not going to be able to lose yourself in the film. And that's the whole purpose of going to see a movie, is to lose ourselves in the story. But if the entire process of watching the movie is going to be jolting and jarring because we're looking at something that doesn't track with what we've already determined it should be, then you're just not going to be able to have that same experience. So I intentionally, if I've read the book, it is very difficult for me to even want to go see the movie. And if I've seen the movie, I may want to go back and read the book because I want to get more in depth. Obviously a movie can't explore every single thing. There's going to be scenes that from the book that don't make it into the movie.
A book will be 300 to 500 pages long.
Right,
exactly.
Exactly.
Screenplay is going to be 115 pages long.
Right. So if I really love, like there was that, oh my gosh, what was that Amy Adams
the one she just did where she was
no, it's the one about Munchausen syndrome by proxy, where her mom is glass cutting she
I can't remember.
It's amazing. And I'm blanking on the name of it, but it's an incredible movie. And I want to go back and read the book I want to do a deep dive. But I know that when I read the book, that character is going to be Amy Adams in my head. Period.
Got it. All right, next up, BK Dan writes, John, theory crafting and legal question. Could George Lucas release his original plans for episodes 7, 8, and 9 in a book form and not be in danger of being sued? It all depends on what the specific language of his deal was. It all depends. If there was something in there about never being able to, divulge that, then no, he can't. But if something's not in the contract specifically about that, then he'd be free to do that. He can say something, because unless he sold the intellectual rights to those ideas to Disney, in that case, those ideas themselves belong to Disney. But if not, then he'd be free to reveal it in some kind of, autobiography sometime later on. By the way, Slot and Jonathan Green Soul send in super chat badges. Thank you guys. I appreciate that very much. So it all depends on the contract. It 100% depends on the contract. I mean, that's why a lot of people say, why don't they finally release the original versions of Star Wars before they were retouched up with CG and had the extra scenes put in the special editions? Why don't they re-release those? Well, because I believe that George Lucas had put in the contract that Disney can never re-release those. Because to George Lucas, my special editions are the true definitive versions of that movie. And that's why when people go, wait, why doesn't Disney re-release those? Because I don't think they're allowed to. So it all depends on what's put in the individual contract. Thanks for writing that in, BK. Frankie W. writes, screw up on the last post. Eternals, MCU's first romance film? Of course. With MCU style, it's not a lifelong romance. It's a millennium-long romance. That now. Because I remember yesterday, Frankie, you sent that in, and it's like the wording was off. I'm like, I'm not quite sure what it is you're saying. Yes, of course, if you're going to do a romance, can't just be a lifetime romance. It's got to be one that spans the centuries, which I thought was pretty good. All right, thanks for that, Frankie. Next up, we got Fabrice, who writes, several bidders. Seems Amazon overpaid to boost its Prime library. Aren't pre-1986 movies owned by Warner Brothers. Can't do James Bond without the Broccoli's. Vikings sequel is Netflix. The interesting IP in there is Stargate. After that, Rocky and RoboCop. Maybe partial Hobbit rights. Well, here's the thing, Fabrice. So, of course, we were talking yesterday on the show, Erin, about the fact that, Amazon just bought MGM. And they paid right around $8.5 billion for it. Now, there are some people in the industry who thought they overpaid because there are others who are making valuations and bids around $5 billion. They got it for 8.5, and I still think that's a steal. Do they have, first of all, just the James Bond franchise alone? And I'm talking about the library content and the ability to make more movies moving forward. Now, yes, the Broccoli's, they're going to have to do it in cooperation with the Broccoli's because they split those rights. Absolutely. But the Broccoli's have done pretty good. Mm-hmm. I mean, not every Bond movie is great, obviously. And by the way, Michael Streltz sends in a super chat badge. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that, man. Not all of them are great, but they've done a pretty damn good job shepherding their James Bond franchise. So I think Amazon would be thrilled to be in partnership with them to do these things. They can do future Rocky or Rocky Universe things. Creed continues to move on. But again, the big value for them in the streaming wars, the main thing that's going to differentiate all of them is what is your exclusive content. And now, a couple years from now, Amazon is going to have 4,000 movies and 17,000 episodes of television that nobody else is going to be allowed to have. And it's going to be exclusive to their platform. Plus, they have ongoing IP that they can use to develop new material. So I get it. They paid more than anybody else is willing to. But I also think, Erin, that they were the smartest guys in the room. I think they knew that what they had was valuable. They jumped on it, and I think it's going to work out well for them. You weren't here yesterday, so what did you think about that overall deal when you heard that Amazon was buying MGM for like over $8 billion?
Well, I mean, yeah, Amazon is taking over everything, and they're still not paying taxes. But they're continuing to just expand. And absolutely, you're right. It's all going to come down to what is your exclusive content? What do you have the ability to show that no one else has the ability to show? And then figuring out, okay, how do we then monetize that? How do we make Wizard of Oz new again? You have to think about it. Like MGM maybe their recent catalog isn't as well known as some of the other studios. That being said, when you start going back, like MGM is one of the OGs of Hollywood. And when you go back through their catalog and you look at some of their classic films that can be remade and with new, fresh life being breathed, that's not a word, breathing fresh life into some of these classic films that most people alive today have never even heard of. I have a feeling that Jeff Bezos is no dummy. Let's face it. He has been making very smart strategic moves, taking Amazon from being just the place where you went and bought books to now being the go-to for everything from bamboo toilet paper to, like there's nothing that you can't buy on Amazon now. I posted something about wanting to sell something on eBay and somebody was like, how old are you? eBay? I was like, I don't know. I don't really know where people sell things. And they were like, sell things on Amazon. I went, oh, I thought that was just new stuff. Like, it's everything. It's everywhere. And so it makes perfect sense that they would also then go, okay, we're going to take this massive catalog of material that a lot of people have never even heard of, and we're going to start regurgitating all these classic movies made almost 100 years ago. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they start doing.
Yeah, and there's a lot there. And by the way, Peter Cunnington and Richard Hearn send in super chat badges in the live chat. Thank you guys for that. Appreciate that, dudes. All right, next, move on. Thanks for that, Fabrice. Next up, I've got I Am Vengeance Rights. The Eternal trailer looked beautiful, and I'm excited for the film. But do you think the outcry is some fans believe Marvel is doing away with what they are used to seeing in action films? Tits and explosions for more traditional Oscar-type films. No, I don't think so. Listen, because if that was the problem, then when The Dark Knight came out, when Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight came out, did comic book fans reject it because it went deeper into character and more of a crime thriller and stuff like that? No, it was fresh, it was quality, it was excellent, and therefore we embraced it. I do think, though, when it comes to marketing, we have become accustomed to certain things. We want to see, we are an instant gratification generation. We want to see the big explosions, and we want to see super action, and we want to see an edit cut with every beat of the music. If the music is we want cut. And when it doesn't do that, then some people look at it and go, oh, I look at it and go, wow, this looks a century-spanning epic story with these characters who've been here behind the scenes watching the world unfold. To me, I'm personally fascinated, particularly being directed by the reigning director of the year. But I don't think comic book fans are adverse to incorporating other styles of films and making them even deeper and higher quality. And I think movies like The Dark Knight, I think even shows like The Boys, which is completely vulgar, but it's also incredibly deep in its social commentary of our real world as well as that. I think fans are willing to embrace it. And that's why I think it's just a trailer. We'll see how it goes. But
look at the success of WandaVision. If anybody wanted to pigeonhole comic book fans into only liking a certain type of thing, I think that WandaVision, which was really the opposite of most of everything we've seen so far, really blew that theory out of the water.
I agree. All right. Next up. Also, by the way, Living Laser sends in a super chat badge, as does Tyler Gustafson sends in a super chat badge as well in the live chat. Thanks, guys.
Tyler Gustafson sent in 2 super chats, one for $20 a little bit earlier while you were talking, and another one for $10.
Oh, I feel so bad. Thank you for
30 and all. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate that, man. All right. Next up, that was I Am Vengeance. Next up, we got Ben Rayner, who writes, hey, John, I won't spoil it for you, but I watched the latest Superman and Lois last night, and oh my God, it was fire. I love this show. The story is the best part. Tyler as Superman is the first TV Superman where I'm actually afraid of. What did you think? 5 out of 5 for me. Now, here's the thing. How many episodes, guys, help me out in the live chat. How many episodes of Superman and Lois have there been? Because I just saw episode 7 and I thought that was the season finale.
7.
It was 7. Okay, so I did see the season finale.
6, 10.
Yeah, no, I'm saying.
Somebody else said, okay, 7 seems to be the answer.
Yeah, it's definitely not 6 because I've already seen episode 7. So that one I saw was the 7th. Yes, it took a plot twist that I did not see coming that I found very intriguing as far as who is the true identity of the guy that we thought was Lex Luthor. That I found very, very interesting. What they did there it was a twist that came out of left field. I never would have guessed they were going to do it. And I liked it. Listen, you guys know I hate what CW has done with Superman. And so I had no interest in them making this Superman have his own TV show. This TV show is great. I've really enjoyed it a lot. And I thought that finale was pretty damn good. If that was indeed the finale, I thought that was pretty damn good. All right, next up, we got Caleb writes. If you make a top 10 movies of 2021 list, will you count movies like Nomadland, Judas and the Black Messiah, and The Father, etc.? They technically released in 2021, but they were part of the 2020 awards season asterisk. I'm putting them with 2020 because they were at the Oscars. Yeah, when 2021 ends, and I do put together my annual like top 10 of the year list, I will include whatever movies actually came out in 2021. That's what I'm going to do. But I think Nomadland may have come out in 2020. I'd have to go back and double check that. But whatever. Yes, it will not be. I don't make my top 10 list based on the Oscar calendar. I base my top 10 list literally on the calendar. So I don't know. What about you? When you kind of putting together your kind of thoughts of your best of the year, do you think about when the movie came out? Actually, do you measure it by some other calendar? How do you think about it?
Yeah, I look at it as when I saw it. So for me, my best picture of 2021 or 2020 would be Parasite.
Oh, because you saw it in.
I'm just kidding. No,
okay.
I would say, yeah. I think the Oscars is not it's not a true calendar. Yeah, I don't think that. The only reason why the Oscars is considered the Oscars of 2021 is because it happens to be held on 2021, but it has nothing to do with the calendar.
Right.
So yeah, when you do a 2021 best of 2021, it would be from Gen 1 to December.
Right, but obviously this last Oscars was a bit of an exception because they stretched the deadline date into early 2021 as opposed. But that was just, they did that special for this year because of the extenuating circumstances. But yes, I will include whatever movies came out during the year. So that's going to be how I approach it. All right. Mischievous Gremlin writes, hey, John, how are you today? I'm doing great. Thank you, Mischievous. I haven't seen Fast 9 yet, but to tell me all the Fast and Furious movies comes off as popcorn action flicks. You just embrace the ridiculous of it, no matter how bad or unbelievable it was. Well, here's the problem with that philosophy. If you just say, just embrace the ridiculousness of it. Well, okay, fine. Then you're saying that you love Thunder Force, one of the truly most awful movies maybe ever made. But can you just say the same thing to anybody who criticizes Thunder Force? Don't take it seriously. It's not Shakespeare. I mean, yeah, I get that. And I say that myself for many movies, but you still have to have an underpinning of something that's entertaining and draws you in and all that kind of stuff. And that's why I love the Fast and the Furious franchise from episode 4 all the way up through episode 8, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, particularly 5, 6, and 7. I liked episode 4. I liked Fast 8, but 5, 6, and 7 I loved. And yes, it has some ridiculousness, but you'll understand when you see it. The thing about Fast 9 is it just abandons all reality. Like in Fast 5, 6, and 7, there are moments they abandon reality and do really ridiculous things, but it's always tethered to some other kind of reality. Robert and I was talking about that the other day. When it goes so dumb and so stupid and so unbelievable that you don't even have a tether to hold on to, it just becomes a pain in the ass to watch. And that's what Fast 9 was to me. It was a pain in the ass to watch.
Well, I mean, if you look at, in anything, there's always going to be that, I think that having a tether to reality is a perfect way of putting it, because even if you look at the Monty Python films, they are obviously silly and not based in what we know of reality, but they create a reality in that world and you go, okay, this is the world that we're living in. This is that reality. Same with Game of Thrones. We don't have dire wolves walking around. We don't have White Walkers walking around, but there is a consistency.
Right.
And so when you see like, for example, I just saw Army of the Dead. And oh my God, I loved it. And when we see the animal, I won't say what it is for spoilers for
it's
people.
in the trailer.
Oh, it is. Okay, yeah. When we see the tiger, and we all know that Siegfried and Roy had tigers, but it's a zombie tiger, we go, oh my God, that's fucking awesome. Because it makes sense that there would be a tiger running around Vegas. We know that there is a tiger in Vegas, and it would make sense that that tiger would be a zombie because we are in the world where we have accepted that it was zombies. Now, if that tiger were running around and it were, say, Dracula, and it turned into a bat and it flew off, we'd be like, that doesn't fucking make any sense. But we accept that it's a zombie because that's the reality that we've created. And so the Fast and the Furious franchise, for however silly it may be to people, there is still a reality of that world. And so the ridiculousness still has to make sense within that world.
Yeah.
And once you start leaving that world, that's when the audience who has come to buy into it goes, yeah, I'm done. That doesn't work for me.
Yeah, and again, you guys will see the film. And listen, all film is subjective, so you may see it and love it, and I hope that you do. I wish I did. By the way, Daniel Luna sends in a super chat, $10 super chat badge in live chat. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that, man. All right, let's move on here. Casey McNatt writes, hey, John, Amazon has just released the full trailer for The Tomorrow War. That's the new Chris Pratt movie. And I would like to know your thoughts. Me personally, I felt like they showed just a little too much, and I hate when movies do that. I didn't get that impression at all. I liked the trailer. I thought the trailer was good. I didn't think it was great. I always forget her name. She was in the show Chuck, and she's like one of the main characters.
Yvonne Strahovski?
Yvonne Strahovski.
She was my co-star in Astronaut Wives Club.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's right.
She makes amazing vanilla bean crepes.
I don't know how I'll ever use that information in the future.
And she told me
the next time I talk to her, I'll say, I hear you make a mean vanilla bean crepe.
She does. And she actually takes vanilla beans and slices them open and scrapes the vanilla, like anyway, she taught me how to have a perfect Australian accent.
Because she does have a pretty great accent. People don't realize that.
Well, she's Australian.
Yeah. People don't know that when they see, because nobody.
Do you know how to do it? You know how she taught me how to have a perfect Australian accent?
How's that?
She goes, this is all you have to say. Who farted? Who farted? And there you go. That's what she taught me. So thank you, Yvonne. Yeah.
And she looks great in that. But I don't think, here's the thing. People watch a trailer, and honest with you, 8 times out of 10, when people think the trailer gave them too much away, 8 times out of 10, once you see the movie, you realize, oh, that really wasn't much of the movie they actually showed. But it might feel like it. And then sometimes, and we have a chapter in my documentary about trailers that do give too much away, and sometimes they just literally do give too much away. But I wouldn't jump to that conclusion because for all we know, everything that was in the trailer is in the first 20 minutes. For all we know. So we'll have to wait and see. But I thought it looked pretty good. I think it looks pretty good. All right, next up. We've got Ram Butt at McD. I am David writes, I think the larger-than-life character tropes like John Wick are rare in Hollywood compared to the films and stories in the Asian Bollywood anime market where the said characters trope is often used, if not always used. Why do you think that's the case? No idea. No idea. But you are right. Like in a lot of the Bollywood stuff, like the hero is always just like, bah, and same thing with anime. Like anime, it's like the power level's always over 9,000. So, I mean, it is what it is.
And the hero is the hero and the villain is the villain.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of gray tones there.
No, it's not often you get things like a John Wick or things like that. But I mean, in the 80s, we used to get a lot of that because anytime Stallone or Schwarzenegger, I mean, they were always those guys too. But I'm not really sure why they do that.
But I think that we also, American audiences, we tend to love flawed heroes like Tony Soprano. You know, we love to see our heroes who've just got some baggage. Maybe that's because we as Americans sometimes look at ourselves as heroes with baggage.
Yeah.
But that's getting into a whole other conversation.
That's why everybody loved Logan so much. And Batman, for that matter.
Yeah.
All right. Monkey of All DJs writes, hey guys, can still remember the funniest MGM opening where the lion burps. Gotta love Strange Brew, huh? Strange Brew. Dave Thomas. It was the Mackenzie brothers. It's one of the great all-time Canadian film, Strange Brew. And of course, the Mackenzie brothers went on to be very, very famous, transcending the Canadian borders. And yes, Strange Brew, much of it was shot in my hometown of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it was. All right. Thanks for that. A nice reference on that, Monkey. All right. Next up, Casey McNatt writes, hey, John, don't know if you've heard, but Variety and Deadline is reporting that Evil Dead Rise, the Evil Dead sequel, will be coming to HBO Max with Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell executive producing. The story will likely not feature Ash, but could you see him doing a cameo in it? Also, what are your thoughts of this not going to theaters? And is it going to theaters? Is this a good or bad move? Well, I mean, let's be honest. Army of the Dead, or not Army of the Dead. Sorry,
Evil Dead.
The Evil Dead. It's not like it's a massive box office franchise. It's not like it's not going to go into theaters and make $400 million. It's just not. So a movie like this, getting the big going ahead and getting onto something like an HBO Max, it's not a bad move, because I just don't know how much it could have made in box office anyway. As far as do I think we could see like Bruce Campbell popping up in it, it depends on what the tone of the movie is they're going to go for. Because if they try to go for it in a really straight ahead horror kind of thing, then the laugh break that would be brought on by the immortal Bruce Campbell suddenly popping up in it would be counterproductive. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense and it wouldn't work for it. Because they did an Evil Dead movie a couple of years ago too. I'm trying to remember the name of it. You guys remember, but they did. They went straight horror, and having a Bruce Campbell pop up and drop a joke here and there, maybe, wasn't the best idea. So, I mean, I think it could be fine. We'll see how it goes. Raimi, but the key thing here is this: Raimi's not directing. That tells me he's really not all that involved in the project at all.
Who is directing it?
I haven't seen. So I'm not sure who's directing. But if Raimi's not directing it, I'm not really.
I mean, it's interesting to see that Bruce Campbell is producing it, though. So that the fact that he's producing
that could be a rights thing. That might be an obligation thing. There may be rights involved with that.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, because if you're going to do it, then he has to have a producer's credit or
right,
whatever.
right. It could be like just what do they call it? A glam credit or something.
That Spielberg made a career out of just attaching his name to things that he didn't actually have anything to do with.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it is what it is. All right. Next up, Ron F. writes, John, I agree with your opinion on video game movies. Many of them are just plain bad. Why do you think there have been so many bad video game movies? And what do you think it takes to make a good video game movie? Here's the thing. Nobody ever wants to believe me. Nobody ever believes this, but it's the truth. Forget that it's a video game. If you're going to make a good video game movie, step into it and say, forget that it's a video game. Let's just take this concept and let's just write a great movie.
Yeah.
Let's not worry about pleasing the video game fans.
Right.
Let's not worry about pleasing this. Let's just worry about making a great movie. And if we just make a great movie and put it out there, people will appreciate it. And I think too often they lean too much into the fact that it's a video game and blah, 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 blah. And they really shouldn't. The other thing is this: it's nearly impossible to make a good movie anyway. Most movies aren't good, not because people aren't good filmmakers, because it's really hard to make a movie that people like. That's not easy. And everybody thinks it's the easiest thing in the world. It's not. It's incredibly tough. So you combine those two different things. I think that's why, like, the 40 plus video game movies we've had, with very, very, very few exceptions, have all been absolute rubbish and terrible. And it's going to be neat to see with these new ones coming out, especially Halo's on the way, Uncharted is coming. It's going to be neat to see if they can kind of make that adjustment and move. Like, do you and Tom ever have any theories about why do video game movies just not work? Is there anything, like any common thread you see in them that you go, this is why these things don't work?
Well, number one, because, as I say all the time, my big thing is story. And that's not to say that video games themselves don't have a framework and some semblance of a story, but there's a difference between story and plot. And while video games may have a story, very few of them actually have a plot. And there's almost, and even though, yes, everybody is directed to make certain choices and the choices all lead to a certain thing, and you believe that you have free will, but you actually don't, there is a certain amount of ownership of the character that the controller feels like they have. And so it's like, I'm deciding to go through that door versus that door. So it also makes me think a little bit about the conversation we were having earlier about how when you're reading a book and you decide what that character is supposed to look like and what that character is supposed to sound like, similarly, when you're playing a video game, you decide which direction that character is going to run in. You decide which decision that character is going to make. And so when you then have to go and be a passive viewer to a story that you have become intimately involved in as a controller, as an active participant, I don't think that those two things connect. You know,
right.
Like the assumption that someone who has been an actively involved in a character in the video game would be just as excited to be passively watching that same character making decisions, and it's still jarring. It's like, well, I wouldn't, she shouldn't be going through that door. Well, he shouldn't be picking up that weapon. When I play the game, my character always goes for the backpack, not the blah blah.
Right,
blah. You know what I mean? Like, there's still a bit of a jarring thing that makes the viewer not completely invested in the reality of the film. And so that's why I think it doesn't always translate. But again, I like your suggestion. Take the characters, take the setting, and throw away whatever the video, just create a movie based on those characters and that setting, and then come up with a plausible plot. But disregard whatever they do in the video game, because that doesn't matter.
All right, guys, I have to actually cut today's show a little bit short, so we're just going to do a couple more questions here, and then we're going to have to call it a day. Next one up comes to us from Skylar Hillman, who writes, "Hey, John and Rob." Rob's not here today. Have either of you seen the show Person of Interest? I absolutely loved it and the philosophical undertones of the series. I have only started watching your show about 3 or 4 months ago, but have you ever done or considered doing collaborative videos with other prominent YouTubers? Okay, so you've broken this up into different questions. Okay, let me answer the first question here about Person of Interest. I remember I was very, very late to the party for Person of Interest, and I decided I'm going to start watching this. And I watched the first 2 episodes, and I liked the first 2 episodes, and I never watched it again. I don't know why. It's not that I disliked it. I didn't. I watched the first couple of episodes, and then I never watched it again. So, I mean, it's got a really interesting cast. It had the one guy from Lost. The one guy from Lost was in it. And I think it's Jim Caviezel was in it as well. I can't remember. But yeah, I liked what I saw, but I never watched the rest of it. All right, move on to part 2 of his question. I've only started watching your content about 3 to 4 months ago, but have you ever done or considered doing collaborative videos with other prominent YouTubers who talk about movies like Sean Chandler, Austin Burke, and others? Just curious. Nah, not really interested, to be honest with you. I'm not. Now, don't get me wrong. There are many of these dudes that I would very much enjoy having dinner with and talking about stuff like that. I just don't really believe in collab videos very much. I really don't. I mean, I'd rather have people on my show that I know. Like people I know personally. That's why I love having Erin in here. Is because I know Erin.
Because we've been friends for 13 years. Yeah,
over 10 years now. Mm-hmm. I'd rather have Rob, who I already know and I'm comfortable with. So I'm not saying collab videos for other YouTubers aren't great ideas. I'm not poo-pooing on that at all. I'm just saying for me, who's very socially awkward, and I don't like a lot of people, that number one, I wouldn't really benefit much from having collab videos. And number 2, I don't think other people would get much benefit out of having me, to be honest with you. So yeah, no, I'm perfectly happy doing the things the way that I do them. I'm perfectly happy doing it that way. All right. The third part of your question was, apologies for another anime related question. That's fine. You can ask me all the anime questions you want. I'm not going to often have many answers for them though. But a guilty pleasure of mine is back in 2018, is the Dragon Bulk Super Series. It's not high quality, but the universe survival arc was incredible. Master Ultra Instinct Goku versus Erin was a great fight. I have no idea. I mean, I know who Goku is, but other than that, I have no idea what you're talking about. To me, you might as well have just been writing Goop Iki Sapak and I would have gone, yeah, cool. No, I don't know any of this stuff. I don't know. I mean, I've obviously, listen, I watch a lot of the classic anime, and when one of my all-time favorite stuff is still Space Battleship Yamato or Star Blazers and stuff like that. But honestly, I don't keep up with a lot of the modern anime very often. There's some things I check out that you guys tell me to, but I haven't really checked that one out at all. All right, next one up is you misunderstood my question rights. Well, that's always on you guys. Make sure you write in such a way that I clearly understand. Anyway, I didn't mean the see you again scene in Furious 7. I have no idea what we're talking about. I meant how Paul's iconic blue car pulls up to dinner at the end of Fast 9. Oh, okay, now I remember the question. And could Black Panther 2 do something similar for Chadwick? Like in Distance, we see T'Challa in Black Panther suit looking over Wakanda before credits roll. I see we're saying, well, I mean, here's the problem. You can't do that. It depends on what they're going to do with Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Are they going to say that T'Challa has died? Because in Fast and the Furious, after Paul Walker died, they never said Brian died. They just said, okay, they got kids now. He's rechanged his priorities in life. The kids are his priority now, and he's getting out of the life. But he's still out there. I don't know that that's what they're going to do with T'Challa and Black Panther. I think what they're going to say is that T'Challa has died. And if you do that, then no, you can't have either of those Fast and Furious endings, either the see you again or the pulling up at the end. You can't do. Unless, fingers crossed, they are planning at some point in the future to recast T'Challa. Like, do a project or two without him. Give everybody a chance in Marvel Studios and the fans. Give everybody a chance to breathe and mourn a little bit on the loss of Chadwick Boseman. But the plan is later to recast the role of T'Challa and bring back T'Challa as the true Black Panther. Then you can do something like that. And I hope they do. But I think they're going to say, and I'm not basing this on any insider information, I just speculating as a fan, I think they're planning on saying that T'Challa has died. What do you think their long-term plan for that is? Could we see a little, hint that T'Challa's still alive in the next Black Panther movie? Or are they just going to say he's dead and move on from that?
It's such a delicate thing. I mean, I remember when, and I have a little bit of an connection to the idea of this whole, of everything with having been on Spartacus. And then when Andy Whitfield passed away, and the show continuing and a new actor, Liam McIntyre, stepping in and playing the role. I mean, it's a really hard thing for any actor to take over any role, whether, I mean, even look at the case of Batwoman, when, who was the actress who played the original Batwoman?
Oh, I forget. Rose, Ruby Rose?
Yeah, Ruby Rose. I mean, she left the show, and there's been a lot of not so nice insider things that have been said about her experience on the show. Not her experience herself, but people who worked with her not having a great experience with her. And even still, the actress who came in and took over the role, got so much backlash, and it's so challenging for anyone to step into a role when someone else has originated it, much less when the actor or actress who originated a role has tragically died.
Yeah, which of course we just brought up a picture of you with Andy there from Spartacus, and that is a very specific scenario that you guys went through with Andy. First of all, with the diagnosis that he got, and you guys thought he was coming back, and then obviously he passed away, and you guys had to deal with this exact same thing.
Right, and and even still, there was there were people. I mean, Liam, God love him, what a beautiful soul, and for him, he did get a lot of a lot of vitriol of people mad at him for taking over the role. It's like, well, someone had to do it. It wasn't his decision to bring back the show, and if anyone was going to play it, I thought he did a beautiful job. And so it's a challenge for any actor who has to step into those shoes. I certainly would not want that responsibility. I mean, even Tom, who played like the 7th version of Joey Buchanan on One Life to Live, had people still being like, he's not as good as Nathan when Nathan Fillion hasn't played that role in 20 years, relax. It's one life to live, okay? And that's a stupid soap opera. It's not Black Panther, and it's not this beloved character and this beloved actor. So I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna handle it. I'm just glad that I am not in the position of having to be the responsible one to make that decision. So whatever they decide to do, people are going to be pissed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. There's no win. There's nothing that Kevin Feige or Ryan Coogler or the people at the MCU can do where everybody will be happy. They cannot recast with the best of intentions and have a bunch of people disagree with the thing. Like me, I disagree with that decision, but I understand it. Mm-hmm. They could recast for all the best reasons and have another group of people that completely don't agree with it. I mean, there's no pure win.
I mean, even in the case of Spartacus, Andy was still alive when they said, they went to him and said, "What do you think?" And he said, "Yes, please recast the character. This character needs to live on. I am not Spartacus. I am Andy Whitfield, and the show shouldn't die in my absence." So, and he even approved Liam playing that role, and his family still received residuals. Like they made an arrangement to where his family would receive. So that was a wonderful thing for his family, for the show to continue on. And people were still like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that. That's such a terrible thing." They had his blessing, and people still were up in arms about it. So you're right. There's nothing that they can do that's going to make everybody happy. So,
just do the best you can.
Just do the best you can.
And by the way, Michael Strelitz sends in another super chat badge in the live chat. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. And listen, thank you to all of you guys for being here, making this show a part of your day today. I do have to wrap up today's show a little bit earlier than normal, so I apologize for that. We will be doing a companion video later today. I was going to do one last night, but I just realized it would have been like a 12-minute video. So I thought I might as well wait and do a companion video a little bit later today. So for all you guys who still have outstanding questions to come from Ryan Lohner, Angel Palma, Willow, Johnny Weiner, and on, do not worry. We are going to do an extensive companion video a little bit later today. And if you sent in a question today, it's going to be answered in that video today. So keep your eyes open for that. All right, guys. I want to thank, of course, Erin Cummings and Joey Bishop for being here. Oh, look,
she's been sleeping the entire show.
She is so tired. Anyway,
so tired.
Erin, thanks for being here. And where can people follow you and your stuff online? And when can people start seeing you on Good Girls?
Yeah, so please come visit me on Instagram at Erin L. Cummings, and I post lots of photos and videos of Joey as well. And Good Girls, I don't know the exact episode date, the air date, but it's coming up soon. Good Girls airs on Sunday nights on NBC, and I will be in episode 14. So if you're keeping track, it's episode 14. And I am actually not going to be here next Thursday because of course, I'm shooting the season finale of Good Girls. So, and by the way, Good Girls is currently on the bubble. So if you are a fan and you want to stay a fan and you want to see a 5th season, make sure that you are tweeting and posting and, hashtagging Save Good Girls. Make sure that you are tuning in, but also being very active on social media because right now is when they're making the decision. And I would love to be able to be on season 5.
Well, just so you know,
baby needs some doggy food.
If it does get canceled, you can still come in and do this show. Huh?
I've still got a job.
How's that for consolation?
I've still got a job.
Anyway, guys, thank you for being here. And a special thank you to all you guys who sent in the live comments and questions. Number 1, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number 2, you supported this channel as you did. And by the way, special thank you to all you guys who just sent in the super chat badges during the live chat. Thank you guys very, very much for just supporting the channel and helping us do these shows. All right, guys, don't forget to do the 4 main things. Stay smart, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and please take care of the people around you. That'll do it for me for now, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. My name is John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.